I had an error, so I just left it there. But we're coming back straight where we left off into this fight, of which I got my butt whooped. So yeah, let's see if we can do this. I'm not going to be making the same mistakes I made yesterday, like leaping into an entire second army. So let's see what we can do. Take a quick drink during the loading screens. Remember, kids, stay hydrated. Anyway, let me just pull up chat here real quick, just in case we get anyone that decides to join us. Alrighty. Oh. Greetings. Where were we? Yeah, he's got my potions on. Our DPS has the healing talisman, which I apparently can't highlight. There we go. And he has the tanking talisman. So, all's good. I think I'm gonna bottleneck them again in this, let me just...
The rucksack! The artifact! If you want them so... There's the old...
We got through that yesterday. Yeah. I think it's probably my best bet, looking around. Because that is a lot of orcs. So I think I'm going to just pull back slightly into this ramp. So let's do that.
On my way!
Pull back into the ramp, so we can all hit targets.
Fights the dust! I didn't make it very hard! He hardly put up a fight!
Let's... One for a leg spike.
Another one bites the dust! Huh? Yes?
He is not doing well. Oh,
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. We have an elvish assailant helping us.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
So let's just
What a waste of time.
let's just pull back here, see if we can get out some line of fire. Apparently we still have archers hitting us. Not ideal. But it does give us a moment.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Oh, there she is. Just heal up.
And what now? What is it?
Why can't I use the ability?
He hardly put up a fight! Don't rush me! Huh?
I've lost control of him.
What can do with your axes over here?
Let's just send him off to do the easy job.
Huh? They're hitting me pretty hard!
Another young pop for him.
And what now? How many more of them are there?
And I can't use their items. That's not ideal.
No chance.
out of the way.
Vile creature.
Execute.
Another one bites the dust.
For some reason I can't use this ability.
I need help over here. I'll be ready soon.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
I have lost control of that. Interesting.
What now? I didn't hit you very hard. Yes, no. He hardly put up a fight.
Alrighty.
It can't end like this.
Yeah. I had a feeling it would go like that. I couldn't use their talismans for whatever reason. Which is a thing I noticed yesterday. But that's fine. Reloading should bring it back. Okay. Loading screens. How I've both missed you and hate you. Alright, well, that moderately worked to begin with, so let's get ourselves pulled back here again.
Waste of time.
Too easy.
Let me through.
I didn't hit you very hard.
No chance.
Huh? What is it?
Okay, I can use talismans again. It's cool.
Yes. I didn't hit you very hard.
Minor lag spike, that's fine.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Bites the dust. And what
Switch out.
What a waste of time.
Taking damage, so I've lost control.
Didn't even take off my gloves. No chance.
Another one bites the dust.
Right,
Waste of time.
I didn't hit you very hard.
get some heals in.
What is it? Yes. And what now?
He's probably the best one to try to give this guy.
Too easy.
Wow. Oh,
Yes.
right.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
What is it? I didn't hit you very hard. Too easy.
Just have these two covering each other here. Let's try and heal a bit.
Ow! Don't miss me. Pow! Another one bites the dust. What is it? Too easy.
And I didn't even
back him
take
up.
off my gloves.
Get rid of his archers.
What a waste of time.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just have him back here. Out of the way.
No chance.
Oh boy. Comes to something when the tank has to do all the damage.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
See if I can get an auto kill here. There we go. Apparently not. Okay, no. And back it up.
Another one bites the dust.
keep swapping these two out. As they heal.
Huh?
Pop that. The wonderful thing is because of the attack speed of this guy, we can heal faster, so... Why are you attacking that one? Kill that one. Yeah, the one on low HP.
Put up a fight. Too easy.
There's probably an easier way to do this, but this way's working, so...
The dust.
Come over here.
Who's next? He hardly put up a fight.
Can't see.
Too easy. Ow! Another one bites the
I should
dust.
probably save the elf, but priorities. And the brothers just stood there. Get over here.
Do you think it's smart? Just letting me die over here?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be ready soon.
Pop the talisman.
Vile creature, huh? What is it?
Apparently she can heal herself, so
Another one bites the dust.
fantastic point.
Huh? Yes.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
How do you miss?
Huh? What is it? And again.
More reinforcements. Hooray. Get out of here.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Shock that hit. Looks like it was out of range to me.
Pow! Another one bites the dust. And what now? I didn't hit you very hard.
I never thought I'd say this, but a fast dwarf is fucking brilliant for this.
Who's next? I've got the rocks. Let's get out of here.
Uh-huh. After I've done killing things.
Huh? Yes. Pow! Another one bites the dust. Yeah! I didn't hit you very hard.
Let's just retreat this one. That way.
Huh?
Let him heal for a minute. It's kind of a strange thing. There's not supposed to be enemies near the gate, near the bridge, but they keep coming from there. Sounds like an oxymoron to me.
Too easy.
No.
I didn't hit you very hard.
Range. Go.
Huh? Yes.
He's healed up, so.
Who's next? Too easy. I didn't hit you very hard. Yeah. And what now? I'm not that quick. Yes. He hardly put up a fight. Huh? What is it?
Yes?
Just... No, apparently can't. There we go.
Let's get out of here!
Retreat? We should fight on!
We would die! Perhaps you've noticed that Nodon has risen again, headless. He is more powerful than the Perished Land itself, but the key to his destruction is in here.
We will return to the Secondlings and tell them what the Magus is up to. We'll be safe at Ogre's Death, and there we can hatch a plan.
If we manage to get there. Nodon will do anything to stop us.
Then let him try!
And all that experience is why I stuck around. Of course you'd have an ability called Oink Oink. But why is the DPS the getting tank abilities? That makes no sense. Okay, apparently I reset that and it confirmed it. Whatever. Not bad. That actually just straight eliminating enemies can be really, really good. As much as I like the sounds of Whirlwind. Yeah, as much as I like the sound of Whirlwind, this straight execute is always brilliant. Alrighty. Another 10 days rations and a potion that I'll probably not use. Loaded screens, time for a drink. Of nondescript carbonated beverage. Okay. Well, oh, it's giving me the south now. It's actually pretty good. Is it just me or is that thing floating? I know it's not supposed to look like it, but it looks like it's floating to me. Where's the other merchant? Oh, I get it. I've lost access to this section of the map, so I couldn't go there if I wanted to. Okay. Bit strange, but whatever. What are you? Compstead.
Ha ha! That was fun! What's next?
Boindil looks at you, and the sparkle in his eyes goes out.
We are both very sorry about what happened here, Toto.
He told me, said Gressa. I convinced myself that...
You gulp and turn away from your friends.
It's kind of interesting that there's an orc horde right behind me where I just was. I may have to go back and just for the XP. Also, who the heck was that elf? Because remember, there's two different types of elf in this. There's the alf with an A and the elves with an E. So
Ha! That's That's what I call a goodly challenge. Cover me.
Not a good idea if you want to go on living, dwarf.
Oh, it's a
You've got
woman.
quite a big mouth for someone who sounds like a girl.
Oh.
You are Andikai, the Tempestuous, right?
Correct. And you are Tungdil, Lot Yonan's charge.
I like how he's always looking for a fight and tries to pick the fight with the guy 3 times his size. Okay.
Honourable Mager, what news of Lot Yonan? Does he live?
Andikai looks at you in silence, pain and rage slowly spreading across her face.
He is dead, Tungdil. Along with Myra, Turga, and Sabora. Nod-On killed them all and destroyed the Council of Magi.
The certainty of their death is painful. It feels as though someone has just torn your insides out.
He killed their best pupils, too. And now he's the unchallenged Magus in Girdlegard.
It was you, wasn't it, that attacked them with the lightning? Were you any more successful than we were?
Andikai shakes her head.
He defied everything I threw at him. All of my skills. In vain. I soon realized he was superior to me, but I wanted to buy you some time.
Okay, so it wasn't an elf. Oh well, whoever.
Nodon's famula said that he had changed the magical fields, but you still seem to be able to use them.
Andikai smiles.
I'm not quite as benevolent as the other Magi. My god Samusin is the god of balance. He loves the darkness as much as the light, which means I can use both. But my powers aren't unlimited. It is difficult for me to store and use this altered magic. We should avoid confrontation as much as possible.
Your companion, won't he sit with us and introduce himself?
Yes! Hey, you up there! Can you even hear us with that bucket on your head?
Jerun is mute, and he won't do you any harm unless I command him to. And as long as you treat him with courtesy, dwarf.
Boindil seems to briefly weigh up his chances against the two of them.
I decide when I'm courteous. Just don't get in my way. And the orcs are mine!
Oh boy.
What happened? How could he defeat the Council of Magi?
Nudin called us to Parista, under the guise of reinforcing the barrier against the perished land. Instead, he tricked us, took control of most of our powers and attacked us. I cut him down with my sword, but he rose again and impaled me with his staff. All I can remember after that is the sound of fighting, destruction, and cries of death.
How did you survive?
Jerun. Nudin had forgotten he was with me in Parista. He found me, tended to my wounds and brought me out of the city to safety, until I could summon up enough power to heal myself.
And Lot Yonan?
When Jerun carried me away, he was frozen in stone, like a statue.
Excuse me.
To my knowledge, the spell cannot be reversed.
You nod slowly. You don't have the strength to say anything else right now.
What will you do now?
Leave this place. I'm not so foolish as to believe that I could restrain the perished land or nod on. Why should I stay here?
Foolish, no! But cowardly!
You're on your way to the kingdom of the Secondlings, right? Then I will accompany you and leave Girdlegard by the High Pass.
We'll need all the help we can get. Nodon will have a lot worse in store for us than just orcs.
The Mager nods in agreement. Then she looks pensively at your rucksack.
Your rucksack? Why did Nod-On want it?
Ooh, do I lie to the murder? It's kind of confusing. Why are they calling her a murder if she's a Maggie or whatever? I'm not even going to bother trying to decipher the nonsense.
I was taking some objects to Goren, one of Lot Yonan's family. He was murdered at Greenglade by an elf. There were books lying next to his body, which he was planning to send to Turga the Fairfaced.
May I see them?
You nod. Take the books out of your rucksack and hand them to her. She goes through the letter and the books, one after another, without showing any sign of emotion. Finally, she closes the last of the books.
Is that all? They are only sagas and travelogues from the Outer Lands, which tell of legendary creatures and myths. I don't know why they should be of interest to Nod On.
There must be something in them that's important to him. He destroyed a whole village for them, and the vaults.
Possibly. I'll study the books. But let's sleep now. Jarun can keep watch. We are still being followed.
Well, what's that old tale of a lot of myths start with a grain of truth or something? Something to the derivative. I don't actually know if either of these matter because I'm not switching out these two. Although actually I might switch out the what is it, Blacksmith Strike that he starts with. Yes. We'll go a bit more defense because he really lacks defense. Okay, it's just that way around. What are these guys? When injured, she has herself instead of dealing with auto attacks. Okay. Causes damage and stuns enemy, has a 75% chance of leaping next to the target. That is a horrible ability. Holy buggery. Magical bastard pushes enemies, pulls enemies towards it, then explodes. Any beam that deals damage. Everyone within its path and pushes them back. I don't know if I'm even going to use her. That is a lot of negligible abilities. I will be honest. Let's have a look. Each enemy nearby him receives damage over time. Okay. That's quite good. Great force. Everyone is path. Okay. Mighty blow. That's the same as his, isn't it? Yeah. Opens his visor. High chance of... Okay. Apparently this guy is some sort of monstrosity. Which I like. So we're just gonna negate you and take you. Which does mean... What do I have? They're selling objects. Strength. I actually like the talismans better than anything. Oh, no, there's the caveat. He only has a relationship with his quote-unquote master. I guess that's sort of the interior gimmick of the game, isn't it? Because every time you gain an ability point, the higher your relationship is, the more chance you have of giving the others that you have a relationship with ability points. I guess can be a stacking effect, I guess? Maybe? Alright, I'll take her for the time being, but I'm not going to place too much hope in her. Because quite frankly, I don't like her abilities, but we will give her that. Alright. Excuse me. I do kind of want to get rid of these hordes.
It would seem that one of the armies who've been following you since Lot Yonan's vaults has caught up with you. You can even smell the rancid grease the orcs use on their weapons. Boindil immediately prepares to fight, but Andakai demands you avoid confrontation.
Of course you would.
It would seem that one of...
Yeah, I already heard that. So they're literally going to be up my butt this entire journey. Oh look, a one-way track that I can't avoid a fight on. What a shame.
The army, you have put out a plate of food for the night every evening since Jarun and Andakai joined you on your journey. But still none of you have seen him eat. You decide to pay particular attention to him this evening, to try and find out what is under the helmet. Andakai is sitting not far from the giant, studying the books.
Have you found anything useful yet?
She looks up at you.
You think I will stay and fight if there is a spell in the books that might defeat Nodon?
Yours is the god of balance. Don't you see it as your duty to create a balance between light and dark?
Instead of answering, Andakai rubs her eyes and closes the books.
It's too dark to study. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
Disgruntled, you watch the Mager as she walks over to her bed for the night. Your eyes fall upon Jarun and the plate at his feet, on which not a crumb of food is left.
I don't know why I find that amusing. Don't ask me. None of these are actually... Oh. These just seem like hamlets or small villages. So...
In the afternoon, with the sun low in the sky, the path leads you through a ravine. A glance at your map suggests that you're near to Boribor, the Orc realm.
Fracas, may we remain unscathed.
About a mile further on, Boindil suddenly stops in his tracks and sniffs.
Can you smell that? Piggy snouts! And lots of them too!
Let's proceed with caution. Perhaps we can take a few of them out before they raise the alarm.
Your dwarf's stuff isn't particularly your strong suit. The funny thing as well is my tactics don't really change when it comes to adding her onto my team, because she only heals herself, not other people.
Not a bad idea.
Okay, where am I looking? That way. He's already firing on me.
Please wait a moment.
It is really easy to lose track of what's going on in this. Should be fine. Should be fine.
Too easy. Who's next?
Oh, okay. Count me corrected. Holy ball.
Vile creature.
Okay. I stand corrected on all fronts.
Waste of time. Not a bad idea.
Killed.
No chance.
Okay. Let's just get over here and
I didn't hit you very hard.
deal with these.
And again.
Is he down there again? There's a reason I'm up here.
What is it? Oink, oink, little piggies!
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
You're hitting me pretty hard.
Oh, that's me.
Wasn't interested.
I nearly executed myself. That's fun. Let's potion in.
What a waste of time.
You're the one
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Oink, oink, little piggies!
As I said, it can be really hard to keep track of some of this.
Killed. Huh?
Okay, let's just hang out for a sec. I know this can be boring to watch, but inevitably. No point in going anywhere if you're dead. That is an ogre. And something throwing bombs, which I assume is a trebuchet of some description. Oh, the ogre followed us. Cool beans.
And what now?
Let's just...
What a waste of time.
Put up a fight!
Now you've got me interested.
Yeah, because bursting it down is a priority. Let's just go over here.
What is it?
Just have him attract attention.
What is it?
He hardly put up a fight!
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
And what now? Yes? I didn't hit you very hard.
No chance. Now you've got me interested.
Let's just leave him to deal with that.
Yes?
What is it? What is it?
What is it?
Who's next?
No chance.
He hardly put up a fight.
Did I just knock him off of the realm?
Too easy. Yes? Huh?
Okay. Have him help his brother out.
Now
Heal up
you've
a
got
bit.
me interested.
I didn't hit you very hard.
If I can angle this properly. Too bad I can't follow it. If I can angle this properly. Head it just there.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
And what now? Oink, oink, little piggies!
I forget what that ability does, I just know it's good.
He hardly put up a fight. Huh?
Okay, it's done.
Who's
What
next?
a waste of time.
Oh, itchy knee.
Huh? Yes? He
What is
hardly
it?
put up a fight.
Is she using...
Yes?
Okay, just give everyone a chance to heal up for a sec. Whilst I figure out where I'm going next. Right in front of me. Excellent.
Of course. As good as done. On my way. What is it? Huh?
For the record, this is terrible fortress design. It's all fair and well creating a checkpoint, but if you don't block off the other entryways, then you're kind of wasting your time.
And again.
Now you've got me interested.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's an exit.
Too easy.
But apparently there's 4 exits, so...
As good as done.
Okay. Out of the way, dwarfs.
And what now?
Huh?
That's pretty deep. What is down there? Apparently nothing. Alrighty. Start the
Now
slow
you've got
jump.
me interested.
What is it?
And why am I using this guy?
On my way.
Idea.
What is this? Some little campfire. Okay.
As good as done.
Uh-huh.
We should go down into the caves and vaults. There'll be more of them down there.
Or maybe we should concentrate on finally getting to Ogre's Death stronghold, Boindil.
You ignore the offended look on your friend's face and set off, leaving the Orc Mountains behind you.
Discretion being the better part of valor, I guess. Which is fine. I don't disagree with the choice. But that's what I was after necessarily. The level ups. Dead. Okay. I'll probably get round to sorting that one out later. But in the meantime, I still have a orc horde at my butt. That I apparently can't get rid of as much as I want to. I hope they've got plenty of provisions.
You can already see the oasis a day's journey away, but in the glimmer of the midday sun, you're not sure whether it might not just be a mirage. But the twins are convinced that there is a village here, and the prospect of a roof over your heads for the night keeps you going. The nearer you get to the oasis, the more the uneasy feeling grows that something's not right. It's too quiet, and you don't see any movement. Once you enter the village, your fears are confirmed. Your enemies have already been here.
Of course they have. They were sent south after all. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a dwarf blockade blocking Ogre's death as well. And I did notice that's the first time we've had to face ogres since the intro, so... Oh, all 5 of us are here. Yeah, try being stealthy with that monstrosity behind me. He causes more noise than the dwarfs. Holy bleeding heck.
This whole thing is probably a trap. We should...
Welcome to Pasnar. I'm sure the citizens would greet you themselves, if they could.
You recognize the elf immediately. You saw him with the leaders of the orcs, and he appeared to you in a dream after Greenglade. Or no, not in a dream.
Sintharas.
So we meet again, Tungdil. What do you think of my work in the vaults? It was a nice start, wasn't it?
An eerie smile sets on Sintharas's lips.
Wonderful. I can see the hatred in your eyes. Come on. Come and get your revenge.
Alrighty. Note to self, get more potions. And of course the orc horde's behind him.
What is it? Huh?
I'm just gonna toss you over here.
What is it?
Yes?
Pop that.
Huh?
Now
Did
you've
work,
got me
okay.
interested.
And what now? Yes?
What is it?
Yes?
What is it?
I don't like the fact that I'm so split up, but...
How about some help?
yeah. Let's just have everyone in the group.
And what now? What is it? And again. And he does it. Quick, another one bites the dust. He hardly put up a fight.
Oh boy.
Too easy.
I've lost control of him, I can't do anything for him.
I just need...
Yes?
Another one bites the dust.
Can't do that yet. Please wait a moment. Kill. And again.
I didn't hit you very hard.
Fiddlesticks, I've just figured out the gimmick.
Wait a moment.
Another one.
I can't do that yet.
Okay, yeah, hurry up.
Very hard. What is it?
And again.
It's a shame I didn't notice the gimmick
I
beforehand,
can't
but
do that yet.
it's fair enough. Let's see what I can clean up here.
I didn't hit you very hard. All right. Too easy. Huh?
Please wait a moment. I
Should
can't
pop
do
this
that yet.
first. Okay. Should be alright for a minute.
What is it? Pow! Another one bites the dust.
Too bad there isn't a revive function.
I didn't hit you very hard. Too easy.
And this is why I picked up the ability. It's probably the only reason Tungdol survived.
I didn't hit you very hard.
Why does it sound like this? What's just behind the tent?
On my way. As good as done.
Okay. Let's just take our time here.
Yes.
No point in rushing in willy-nilly.
Vile creature.
What is it?
Huh? Kill.
I'm just going to scoot around to the side here.
Please wait a moment.
Yes.
They're hitting me pretty hard.
Ow. Hit myself. It's also kind of funny that terrain apparently doesn't make a difference to the archer's trajectory.
Huh? I didn't hit you very hard.
Yeah. Nope. We're just gonna let the actual tank deal with that for a sec. So I can come over here.
Another one bites the dust.
Alright. He is not as strong as his sister is. See, he's being soloed. Which I am not disapproving to.
Yes?
Yes?
Huh?
Alrighty.
On my way! As good as done!
Kill! Huh?
I didn't hit you very hard!
Yeah.
I can't do that yet.
Execute. Nope. Execute.
Creature.
Thank you. Should have used the defense first,
Kill!
but no, I can't.
What is it?
I'm off the back.
Pow! Another one bites the dust!
It's kind of amusing that the two DPS characters are the ones that are down.
On my way! Yes? Pow! Another one bites the dust!
Vile creature.
Can I just throw a couple of them out this way? Just for Tonto. Okay, that works.
Pow! Another one bites the dust! Don't rush me! I'll be
that.
ready soon! Pow!
that.
Another one
Wait a
bites the
moment.
dust!
Sweep.
I can't do that yet.
Execute.
Please wait a moment. And again.
There we go.
I didn't hit you very hard!
Third time's the charm.
What is it?
Apologies for the silence. I'm concentrating.
I didn't hit you very hard!
Alright. He's over there. Okay. Just keep cleaning up his forces.
On my way.
For the record, I love the fact that this guy is so tanky.
Easy!
Vile creature.
Execute him. And execute.
Another one bites the dust! Easy! Yes?
I think I've pretty much dealt with all of the orcs in the area.
At once.
Just as I open my mouth.
Yes? And again.
What is it?
Also a little sad I had to use 2 potions in this. But boss fights will be boss fights.
Huh?
Too easy!
No, you don't get back up.
Kill.
Alright.
On my way.
For the record, he got soloed by a
Retreat.
tank.
Back! Why are you here? And how can you possibly still use magic?
The one person your master left living is the one you would least like to have as an enemy. Go on, little Alf. Flee.
Your magic saved you this time. But next time, I'll be prepared.
I've had enough of fighting. It's about time we head to your home.
I've had enough too. But we've got several days in the desert ahead of us before we can enjoy a cold beer.
The longer we talk about it, the later we'll get to our beer. Let's go.
I'm going to keep my opinions about him, the Alf, to myself. Alrighty. Let's keep marching on. Yeah. Pretty much everyone's healed up at this point. Wait, why is the relationship back down to 10? Unless they couldn't fit 3-digit numbers in there, I guess. Oh, one step before Olga's death. 2 steps before. Map. Can I... What on earth? No. Excuse me, map. Can I... Unfortunately, there is no way to rotate the camera.
You've been
Left to
traveling
right.
through the desert for days. The sand is simply everywhere. In your shoes, under your clothes, in your mouths. Even the makeshift cloths that you've wrapped around your heads is of little help.
Moving on.
With the last of the energy you can muster, you finally leave the 40-mile-wide sandbar that separated you from Ogre's death. It is as if you've passed through an invisible wall when the raging wind and sand suddenly fall silent. In front of you, an enormous massive towers into the sky, the Blue Range. The slopes cast long shadows over Ogre's Death Fortress, which nestles in the spurs of the mountain. Even from this distance it looks impressive, with its 4 defensive terraces, one above the other. The anticipation of entering a real dwarven city for the first time grows with every step, and you feel the power returning to your limbs. You've almost done it.
Sound is all good, but can we have the loading screen finish beforehand?
My High King, you have called me to succeed you to the throne. Here I stand before you.
Well...
Before you are chosen as the successor to the High King, hear, King Gandagar, the challenges that await you. Hordes of orcs are rampaging through the north and the west, and the perished land is stirring. It would seem that the Magi cannot sustain the barriers.
This gives us an excellent opportunity to attack the last elves in Alandor. They are weakened. The perished land afflicts them. Let us wipe out the traitors once and for all.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Hear, hear.
Madness. What are you talking about?
I do not recognize you, King Gandagar, in what you are saying. The elves are inhabitants of Girdlegard. Has your hatred for them clouded your senses to the point that you wish to ignore the words of our god?
Belendelin's gaze falls, as if incidentally, on the King of the Fourthlings' advisor.
Or is someone giving you bad advice?
On the contrary, it was Bislipper who finally supplied me with the proof. A report titled How the Fiflings Lost the Gate. It was the elves that poisoned the brave Fifling warriors in their stronghold. A devious disease spread by the pointy ears in the shafts of the Grey Range.
Impossible.
I always knew it.
Treason. I don't believe
They should
that.
pay for it.
To the pointy ears.
Enough! Don't be so short-sighted! We are talking about the safety of Girdlegard. We must reach out and forge a large coalition with the elves. Yes, and even with the Thirdlings, if we are to defeat the perished land.
My High King! You cannot be serious!
Drivel from a dwarf who has grown too old in his post. Are we not here to choose a new High King? We have waited long enough.
It would seem you will have to wait a little bit longer. The second aspirant has arrived. Our guests must be tired from their long journey. The meeting is adjourned till tomorrow.
Oh boy. They're bringing a scholar with no knowledge into a royal battle. I foresee bad tidings.
But why do you think that I...
Everything will become clear. I've had a room prepared for you. Before you take to your bed, please pay the High King and I a visit in the throne room.
Yeah, I owe the twins a punch in the face for keeping that bit from me. Not that I didn't see it coming.
Ah, Your Highness.
Heir apparent? What do you know? Spit it out.
A slight expression of guilt flits briefly across Boindill's face, but he's soon back to his old self.
A scholar as High King has something to it. You'll certainly have our votes, that's for sure.
Boindall nods in agreement.
As High King, you could unite the kingdoms and get them to do battle against Nod-On.
You look at your friends and aren't really sure whether they are trying to pull your leg or not.
I can't be High King. I got all my knowledge from books and you're pulling my leg, right?
The twins' grins grow ever wider, and it would seem they can hardly contain themselves.
Just talk to High King Gundrabur and Belendolin. They will explain everything.
High King Gundrabur seems... well...
Old? He is ancient. Even by Dwarvish standards. He has been old for as long as I can remember.
Belendalin has taken care of most matters for dozens of cycles. But Gundrabur always has the final word. His mind is younger than all of ours, I tell ya.
Belendalin should become High King. I was there when a runt took his arm. He still managed to kill half a dozen of them afterwards. What fighting spirit! We had to drag him off the battlefield.
The law requires that a firstling or a fourthling must be chosen as the new king of all dwarves. And, as the firstlings didn't turn up...
I like how I don't have to read what the captions are, because it's basically said as a repeat.
For the first time, you have the chance to appreciate the beauty of the place. You suddenly forget what you wanted to say.
I've never seen such masterful masonry. To be honest, I didn't even know that stone could be worked in such a way.
Ha ha ha! The secondlings are the best masons of all the kingdoms. That's how Fracas made us. Well, he made some of us into warriors, too.
Boandal glances at his brother, and he laughs with satisfaction while looking around the hall himself.
I think I'll continue to look around.
Don't get lost. And tonight, we will finally drink a lovely dark ale in the glowing anvil.
Dwarven naming sense. Let's have a... no.
You can't see the bottom. When the secondlings named the Blue Range their home, there was nothing here but hard rock and a few small caves. Fantastic.
Well... sorry, I'm just doing a thing real quick. And the big guys with big hammers, even by dwarven standards, block your path. So, excuse me. More big guys with big hammers. Enter the chamber. That's... doesn't have a conspicuous name or anything.
Andakai, what is it?
I came to return these books to you, Tungdil. Luckily, I was able to make sense of most of it.
You observed how the Mager took time to study the books during your escape.
They are records from the Outer Lands. They tell of demonic beings from Barren Ground who can take possession of humans and invest them with great power.
Immortality, for example?
The Mager nods seriously.
They speak of an axe forged by the Undergrounders called Keenfire. It is said to have the power to cut through the flesh and bone of the living and completely destroy the demonic spirit deep within their soul.
So you think a demon from the Outer Lands has taken possession of Nudin?
He looked very different when I encountered him in Parista, and he rose from the dead even though you cut off his head. That can't be explained purely through the power of the perished land.
And he wanted to prevent these books from falling into our hands. That would only make sense if Keenfire had the power to defeat him. Where is this Keenfire?
I don't know if this weapon was ever forged. It requires rare materials and masterful craftsmanship. The purest, hardest steel, stone barbs decorated with runes, a hilt of Sigurdaisy wood, inlays made of all the noble metals, the blades studded with diamonds, smithed in the hottest forge.
We are dwarves. We have the most talented craftsmen.
And you have the Sigurdaisy wood. It is amongst the objects in your rucksack, which is fortunate as there are no more Sigurdaisies in Girdlegard. But even if you managed to forge the axe, it might all be just a fairy tale. It's too little to wager our lives on.
Sometimes just the smallest things.
Do you know these undergrounders?
I have never heard of the undergrounders, but I've been to the Outer Lands before.
It must be terrible. The hordes of Tion have marched from there against our strongholds for thousands of years.
It's not as bad as you think. It is certainly safer than a land in which a magus possessed by a demon is on the loose.
True enough.
We can get all the missing materials, as well as a gem cutter, here in the stronghold. After all, Gandagar and his fourthlings are here. A stonemason from the secondlings, and I can smith.
The Maga looks at you thoughtfully, and for a short time it seems as though your enthusiasm is rubbing off on her. But then she says,
I wish you good luck, Tungdil.
You still want to leave Girdlegard, but what will happen to your realm and all the other realms?
I admire your optimism, my friend, but it isn't wise to stand in the way of a rolling stone. I don't wish to give up my realm, but I would only be prolonging the suffering unnecessarily.
But
you don't want to let the last Maga in Girdlegard go. Unfortunately, you can't think of anything that could cause her to stay.
Many thanks, Honourable Maga, for all that you have done.
She'll stay. Guilt trip.
A variety of cheeses, pickled cave mushrooms, toasted vault moss, and some smoked sausage. Mmm.
The intense smell of the cheese makes your mouth begin to water.
Sigurdaisi wood. Very rare. I guess Lot Yonan wanted it to examine or experiment with.
Well, let's go see the High King then. Do you know, I still haven't figured out what that third thing is on my top right. I know gold and I know provisions, but I haven't figured out what that top last one is. Loading screens, the ever bountiful knowledge bank.
Tungdil, come closer.
The power that the old High King radiated when he called the assembly to order has drained away from him. His body is sunken in the throne, but his eyes are alert and interested as he looks at you.
The lost son returns to his people. Thank Vracus. Tell us what you learned on your journey.
You describe your adventure down to the smallest detail. Neither the king nor his advisor interrupts you. From time to time they nod, as though they were already aware of certain facts. Their brows become more furrowed with every passing minute. When you are finished with your story, you also have some questions.
Breaking the fourth wall much? Come on.
Game is being played here.
Gandagar, as king of the Fourthlings, is to supersede me as High King, but his mind is poisoned with hatred towards the elves. He would probably win a war against them, but he would weaken us, and Girdlegard would not be helped by this. I was hoping for a great coalition with the elves, and even with the Thirdlings. I would have given anything to start the negotiations. In times of great need, only the common goal can count.
And which role have you planned for me?
Well, with you as a second aspirant, certain possibilities of protocol open up to us.
I don't want to appear ungrateful, and I'm happy to finally be among my people, but I will not ascend the throne. I hardly know anything about our customs and laws. Everything that I know, I have learned from books that Lot Yonan gave me. There must be more suitable heirs than me.
Your renouncement honors you, but to be honest, you never had a claim. To stop Gandagar, we had to stall for time.
Lot Yonan helped us with our little story. We don't even know if you are a Fourthling.
The king's advisor misinterprets your unbelieving gaze and quickly adds,
We're only being as deceitful as goblins for one solitary reason: to stave off possible harm to our people.
You feel as though you've been hit in the stomach. If this is true, not only have you lost your newly found kingdom, but Master Lot Yonan also didn't see it as necessary to inaugurate you in the conspiracy.
Well, isn't that a kick in the nuts?
Your plan has a flaw. Even if I were to line up, I couldn't win. No one on the council will vote for me.
You don't have to win.
Belendolin points to the Steelies in the throne room.
It's written in our laws that the High King can oppose an heir if he isn't elected unanimously. He can then demand a duel or a contest in order to determine the winner.
Such a contest could take weeks, if not months, and it would win us some time.
Well,
why is Gandagar so full of hatred towards the elves?
His father and brother were murdered by elves. At least that's what's claimed.
No one knows the truth, just as no one knows how true this report about the Fiflings is. But isn't it strange that this letter has turned up now, just when it can play into the hands of the elf-haters? Many dwarves' hatred towards the elves is great, perhaps even greater than their honesty.
I understand why you want to prevent a High King Gandagar. He will be blind to our real problems.
Gandagar's only liability is that he lets Bislipper whisper dark thoughts in his ear. The advisor is the problem, not the king.
A problem that I am fortunate enough not to have.
The High King smiles weakly at his advisor.
Gandagar is a good dwarf and a good king, and I am certain he could also be a good High King if he was free of Bislipper's lies and false advice.
What kind of contest would you have us compete in? Gandagar is surely superior to me in many things.
Everyone in the council will write a task on a piece of paper, and from them, the contest will be drawn.
And this only once you have made a speech, and have won over as many as possible in the council to your side. The more sympathetic the council is towards you, the higher the chances of a contest that fits your abilities.
Speech? You're beginning to like this whole thing less and less.
well, everyone likes a good trial.
Is this really the best for our people? If you cannot dissuade Gandagar from carrying out his plans, it could end in a fraternal war.
Don't worry. We'll open up his eyes and he will recognize the malice of his feigned friend. We just need time, and you must gain it for us.
Hold on, let me just take a step back here. Their entire plan relies on some random dwarf who happens to be a smithy from unknown origins having some sort of quote-unquote claim to the throne so that they can kick the advisor's butt. Oh.
All right then. I'm ready to do it. But I will need all of your support.
You can be certain of it, Tungdil.
Belendalin smiles at you encouragingly.
You say Andakai may have found a way to defeat Nodon, and she suspects that the Magus is possessed by a demon from the Outer Lands. It may be possible to kill this demon with an axe called Keenfire. I have commissioned armor that is worthy of a prince. It will be delivered to your chamber by sunrise.
You say goodbye with a queasy feeling in your stomach. You always thought that you were articulate, but the prospect of having to make a speech in front of the large council doesn't exactly fill you with elation. Vrakas, who made the dwarves of stone, has himself been hewn from stone by these self-same dwarves. A masterly piece of work, like one of which only the masons of the Secondlings can still accomplish today.
Well, inevitably.
The coal fire is lit when the kingdoms meet for council. It has lain dormant much too long, until it was finally lit again a few days ago.
I'm seeing glaring holes in the plots and plans here, but we'll keep things under wraps for now.
Ah, Tungdil, what is it?
The High King and his advisor don't know where I come from either. But they only want to use me to delay Gandagar's coronation and ultimately prevent war with the elves.
Whatever happens, we will stand by your side, Scholar.
You're not sure whether the moral support of your friends will be much use in a contest with Gandagar, but it feels good not having to go through the whole thing on your own.
Well...
Andakai deciphered what was written in the books that Goren wanted to send to Turga the Fairface. They tell of a demonic threat from the Outer Lands and how it can be stopped. Nudin cannot be killed by normal weapons, but Undergrounders have developed a weapon that might be able to do it. Keenfire.
Undergrounders? What's that supposed to mean?
You shrug your shoulders.
Maybe there are dwarves in the Outlands too. Either way, they have described how this magical weapon can be made.
If it's got anything to do with magic, the weapon cannot be dwarfish. We shouldn't go anywhere near it.
Nudin fears the books. I believe that Keenfire is our best chance of stopping him. I think I'll continue to look around.
Don't get lost. And tonight, we will finally drink a lovely dark ale in the glowing anvil.
Before or after I get some sleep. And it's kind of strange that the room I'm in is right next to the royal chamber. Or the throne room. Was it the plots and schemes of mice and men? Unbelievable.
You are looking forward to the first proper bed for weeks. You undress and lie down. Before you know it, your eyes close and you fall asleep. When your new armor is brought to you the next morning, you can hardly believe your eyes. However, as a smith, you can't stand the fact that you haven't contributed anything to it, and decide to add some inlays.
Even one who wears the armor of a prince can still be a farrier underneath it, don't you think, Tungdil Bolafar?
What are you doing in here?
Ignoring your question, Bislipur eyes you very exactly before he speaks.
So, you want to be one of our kingdom? A foundling brought up by a wizard? One wouldn't think it possible. And I don't think it possible either. There is no proof of your origin, and Gandagar's the council on his side. Why don't you spare yourself the disgrace and just not turn up in front of the council? Put your scheme to bed, and we will take you into our kingdom. We will give you everything you need your whole life long. In exchange, you support Gandagar instead of challenging him.
Proof? Oh, you mean like your letter that has been found after 1,000 cycles and makes the elves responsible for the fall of the Fiflings?
It is no secret that the elves are deceitful. And what could possibly be more suited to get one over on us than letting the perished land in and presenting us as the scapegoat?
The elves have been displaced by the perished land and are now almost eradicated.
I said they are deceitful, not wise.
Children of the Smith cannot be silenced.
You are a dwarf, I confess, but no fourthling can remember a dwarf child ever going missing.
And you know thousands of the fourthlings personally, and know exactly where they live in the mountains, what they're planning, or what small tragedies take place in their lives?
You have a sense that all the long evenings in the library and debating with Lot Yonan weren't for nothing, as Bislipur struggles for a reply, then lets it go.
And what if I don't withdraw my candidacy?
You wish to stand against your own king? A stray dwarf offending a deserving leader such as Gandagar through his claim? No one in the Brown Range will like that. Prepare yourself for life as an outsider among the fourthlings.
You have had enough of this dwarf. He makes you feel uneasy, or worse still.
Get out!
A humanized bastard will not issue me orders. Know your place, false dwarf.
Those are some nasty burns. Ow. For the record. Ow.
Some of the gold has left a coin-sized mark on the back of your hand. It hurts, but you like the idea that a bit of the metal you love is now part of you.
Oh, sure.
The armor has been made by a master. Over the chainmail is steel plate, alloyed with gold in many places, which certainly appeals to you. There are also several decorative elements made of stone to honor its origin in the kingdom of the best stonemasons. You had just finished setting the last inlay, the seal of Lot Yonan, who brought you up and is gone, when Bislipur interrupted you.
I'm guessing it's just a repeat.
Not only is it worthy of a king and fits me like a glove, but it should also offer me additional protection in battle.
Well, one can only hope, because you are squishy, my man. You are squishy. Why do you think I took the defensive ability? Jeez. Yeah. I don't think I need to call out the fact that the advisor to the to the King Gundagal or whatever his name is a bad guy.
That is why I, too, lodge a claim to the throne and why I think I am the more capable heir.
Thank you for your speech, Tungdil Bolafar. The Council may now ask questions.
Yes, the dwarf from the Second Link Kingdom over there.
You say that a war against the elves would be madness. But how can such a young dwarf as you judge that? You've hardly seen anything of the world, has he?
It is true. There is much that I only know from books. But it is written that it is our duty to defend and protect Girdlegard, and that includes the elves. And don't the elves have the same enemy as we do? They could stand by us in battle. Why should we play into the hands of the enemy by attacking them, rather than working against the enemy together?
That is true.
He's right. The words of a clever warrior. But the pointy ears hate us, and we hate them too.
What is it they say again? My enemy's enemy is my friend.
Get that guy as your advisor, because he's a wise bloke.
Yes? Your question?
Just so I get this right, you want to forge a weapon that is described in a book of fairy tales from the perished land to kill a demon that none of us has ever seen?
I have most definitely seen it. Goimgar, Yellow Belly, Shimmerbeard.
Okay.
The Maga Andikai the Tempestuous translated the text, and she thinks we could kill the demon with Keenfire.
So, now we're going to listen to Magi? Are we to risk our lives in the hope that she translated this text correctly and isn't just following her own agenda? I thought it was the Magi's fault that we're in this mess in the first place.
I don't know if you can say that, per se.
Doesn't this Tungdil grow up with a magus too?
Right? You can't trust the Magi.
It is their fault that the barrier fell. I don't trust them.
Bislipper?
Nothing you say will convince anyone here. You didn't grow up amongst us, and no one knows if you really are a fourthling. I do not believe there has ever been a more unworthy heir to the throne of the High King. You are just wasting our time.
It's true. I have nothing to present to you regarding my lineage that would eliminate all doubt. But is that really important? Shouldn't my deeds count for more than my lineage? Let me prove what I can achieve.
As long as he's capable.
Well, when you put it that way.
Lineage is important.
And if you aren't capable of anything?
I have heard enough. The Council has heard the words of both candidates and must now make its decision. Those of you who wish to see Tungdil Bolafar, the returning son from the Fourth Link Kingdom, as my successor, raise your axe.
Okay, that's
and
quite a
those
few.
who wish to see Gandagar Silverbeard from the Silverbeards, the king of the Fourthlings, as my successor.
That's still quite a few.
Gandagar has received more votes.
Very good.
Excellent.
But
Here's to Gandagar! Long live our new High King!
However, the result was not unanimous, and as acting High King, I avail myself of my right to demand a contest between the aspirants.
What is this?
But he won the ballot.
It's the rules. The High King has the right to do so.
Respect! He is still the High King.
Silence!
You have heard the High King's command. Write down your challenge for the aspirants. Are you ready? The one that masters this task first will become the High King. It is an expedition. The trial is to lead a group to forge the axe Keenfire in the Grey Range, which can then be used to fight against the Magus Nod On.
An expedition into the perished land?
Ha ha! Brilliant!
You can't be serious.
That's what I call a worthy challenge, don't you think?
I call it luck, Scholar. Of all the challenges, Bislipur draws this one.
Yes. Luck.
Well, if your luck stats high enough. Well, we've had a lot of politics, so let's get back to the fighting. And why am I back out of armor?
But, my king, don't demand this of me. Why me, of all people?
You are one of my best gem cutters, and I promise to support him. It should be a fair contest. Or should I break my word just because of you?
But...
You will go, Goimgar Shiverbeard. Do not put us to shame. Follow Tungdil's instructions. Go, and come back in good health.
And with that, our group is complete.
Who have you chosen as Mason?
Good day, gentlemen.
Bavragar? The old drunkard?
Old drunkard? He assured me he's the best stonemason here. The High King himself sent him.
Well, I said I was precisely the stonemason you need. I didn't exactly say I was sent by the High King.
You let yourself be tricked by a drunkard.
I don't want him with us.
Rest assured, Boindil, I too could imagine better company. But Tungdil gave me his word.
Yes, I gave you my word. And as long as you are capable of doing the stonework needed for Keenfire, you are welcome. Girdleguard is at stake here.
I wish you no ill fortune, Tungdil, but also no good fortune. The throne belongs to me, and through my victory, Vracus will show the clans.
The advice of the High King.
The task is clear to the contenders. The first to forge Keenfire and bring it back here has proven his abilities and will be our new High King to lead us in battle against Nod On.
It will take months to complete the task. The journey to the Fiflings alone is a long and dangerous business.
Dangerous, yes, but not necessarily long. Do you know the old tunnel system that connects the Dwarven kingdoms?
Tunnels are all well and good, but why should we get there so much quicker under the ground than over it?
A knowing smile plays on the mouth of the advisor.
Well...
Never be too quick to dismiss. Some people know more than you do. Oh no.
Pretty impressive what our forefathers achieved here, isn't it?
The kingdoms all work together. If we do the same, nothing is impossible.
Here, here.
I hope you understand me asking, but there seems to be bad blood between you and Boindil.
It's nothing that will endanger our mission. We've just always hated each other.
There's more behind it than commonplace hatred.
Bavragor doesn't react. His gaze is directed towards events that took place a long time ago.
I still don't understand why you tricked me and why you were so set on coming with us.
I have been the Master of Stone for more than 200 sun cycles. My work is admired all over Girdlegard. There has never been a better secondling mason than me. But today, I don't want to be remembered as a drunkard with the chisel trembling in my hand, but as Bavragor Amethyst, undefeated Master of Stone, who brought keen fire to life. One last masterpiece.
Fair enough. I can appreciate the wish for one last triumph.
Really should rein in your drinking. We need you in good shape.
There are some who say I'm only the Master of Beer and not the Master of Stone anymore. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I can't forget, no matter how much I drink.
This is a long tunnel away
I
from
wonder
the
why we
record.
haven't seen any sign of Gandagar recently. Perhaps they took a wrong turn somewhere. Oh, I'm sure we'll reach the Fifthling Kingdom before them.
We're not on the way to the Fifthlings. We are on the way to the Firstlings. We're probably already under the land of the Custodian.
The Firstlings? Why?
The Firstlings have been the best smiths in Girdlegard since the Fifthlings were wiped out. Only they can alloy Tionium and Palladium, which are actually mutually repellent. Anyway, we could use all the help we can get in the battle against Nodon, and...
Oh boy. Yep. Ow.
Damn. Goimgar.
It burns!
We won't get further this way, Scholar. What now?
It's all your fault, you imposter. I was nearly killed, and for what?
It is good that you are still alive. We need you for our mission.
So you can steal a throne that doesn't belong to you?
Hatred glints in the gem cutter's eyes, and for a moment, you think he's going to attack you with the courage of desperation.
I'm not interested in the title of High King. I am trying to save Girdlegard. Even if you don't believe anything else, you must believe this.
I don't have to believe anything. I am here against my will. My own thoughts are my only remaining right.
Enough! Gather up all the materials we can still save. If we manage to reach the Firstlings, we can get anything we're missing there. And it should be less than 200 miles to their stronghold.
Well then. I'm not entirely sure of the difference between firsts, thirds, fourths, seconds, fifths, but apparently it's significant in the time frame of the game, so...
After you have gathered together the materials, you begin to search for a way out. And after a sweaty climb, you reach a door adorned with runes. From here, you enter a large cave with a waterfall covering a sun-drenched opening. You walk through the waterfall one after another, and after the unintentional shower, you find yourselves in Wayan, near the enchanted realm of Oramira. You find yourselves on a plateau, and the river which falls as a waterfall here hides the entrance to the underground rail network. It then flows past a forest, behind which you can see a wall and tiled roofs. You check the map.
That must be Mifadadia. We'll go through the forest to the city and see if we can refresh our supplies and buy some ponies.
Well, inevitably I've got 2 level 7s, so... Where am I in respect to... Oh. Well. Okay. I am miles out the way. Just checking to see how many of these are named places. Because usually named places indicate... something. Okay.
Boindil strikes up song during your hike. A short while later, Bavrigor joins in. But rather than actually singing along, he tries to outdo Boindil with his own songs. When he finally strikes up a love song, Boindil becomes absolutely livid. You take the stonemason to one side and ask him if he's doing it on purpose.
Of course I'm doing it on purpose. I'm gonna make him suffer the whole journey.
Can't go on like this. We can't fight amongst ourselves and save Girdlegard.
You take a short break before you dare breach the roots of the problem.
It's to do with a woman, right?
Not in the way you might think. Smeralda was my sister, a young thing of only 40 cycles.
Bavrigor takes a large swig of his liquor before he continues.
She was almost as belligerent as Boindil, and she got it into her blockhead to stand by him in battle. A bad decision.
You can see the pain he is suffering in his eyes. You place a hand on his shoulder and put him under no pressure to carry on.
Shouldn't it be I? He's got an eye patch on. Whatever.
The constant bickering between Boindil and Bavrigor distracts you. Goingar hears the clanking of armor first.
Something's coming!
Before you know it, the orcs are charging towards you over a hillside.
Well, entertainment. Who said orcs can't be fun? I am going to take this quick opportunity to go use the lavatory. So what's his abilities before I go? Cleave and Mighty Blow. Injuries don't reduce his health, he always starts with 80% health. Okay. Oh my. Really? Nobody likes him, so he automatically attracts enemies. My giddy god. Lure attackers to any location he desires. Funnily enough, he actually sounds like he could be decent. as a meat shield. Especially with the correlation between his passive and the hide ability. Regardless, I will be back in just a minute. Okie dokie. I just want to have a look at this real quick. Why does he have two sets of relationship with the Smith? Because he's got the 10 and then the 15. I'm pretty confident that's a bug of some sort, potentially. Because he certainly doesn't have a relationship with him. Okay, so the 10 is real. And the 10 of those two are real as well. Okay. And it is always nice to have another level. Higher level. Although he's on the highest level. I find it kind of odd that he's only got 2 abilities for a level 6 though. That seems strange to me. But we'll give him that. If nothing else, he can activate. He can act as a point generator.
A bit too much for you, was I? Don't take it personally. Huh? I didn't hit you very hard.
I can't do that yet.
And what now? What is it?
Kill.
This
Put up a fight.
Let's just back him up a bit.
Too easy.
What is it? Oink, oink, little piggies!
Vile creature.
Who are they after? Oh.
Please wait a moment. I can't do that yet.
What is it? Who's next?
And again.
Yes! Huh?
And again.
Too easy.
Let's just retreat him for a minute. See if I can clue them onto him.
I didn't hit you very hard. He hardly put up a fight, vile creature.
Okay, there we go. I can just sit back for a minute.
And again. What is it? Oink, oink, little piggies! What is it? A bit too much for you, was I? Ow! Another one bites the dust. Don't take it personally.
Yes?
Okay. Healing time. Apparently I lost his health bar.
What is it?
Huh? Just strange. Ah, whichever. Just gonna take a slow walk over here. Archers.
Huh? What is it? Oink, oink, little piggies! Yes? Kill. And again.
Is it this way? Yeah. There's a nice little passage through the trees here.
Who's next?
Have fun.
What is it? What is it?
Uh-huh.
There's an ogre over there.
Fight! Pow! Another one bites the dust. And what now? Huh? Killed. I didn't hit you very hard. A bit too much for you, was I?
Okay.
Yes?
On my way. Killed.
Okay, I'll get rid of him.
Vile creature.
Apparently I shoulder charged him. Apparently. Yeah. That is 2 ogres.
Yes?
Get out of the way, Bob. No.
He hardly put up a fight. Pow! Another one bites the dust. Oink, oink, little piggies! Oink, oink, little piggies!
Didn't mean to do that, but whatever. Let's get rid of that ogre.
What's up? There. Disgusting. What is it? What is it?
Incapacitate for the time being.
Who's next?
This thing has over 1,000 health. Wow. Kind of impressed.
Yes?
He's on
And
his
what
butt.
now? Too much. Who's next? Huh?
He had over 2,000 health for the record.
What's up? There. Yes. Pow! Another one bites the dust. As good as done.
Of course!
Ah!
Please wait a moment.
Huh? Yes?
Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally. Why is it always the drunks that are the fun ones?
That was refreshing. Hey, here comes some more. 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6.
5 or 6? Oh, phew.
Dozen.
He means 5 or 600.
Goimgar turns white as a sheet.
That's too many. To the city. Come on.
Yeah, no. That's, GTFO territory. Barndale's attacks raises slightly for a short time. Okay. I'll probably put that onto because I don't really use that anymore. Okay.
You flee towards Mithridania, with Goimgar out ahead. The orcs at his back seem to have mobilized unimagined powers in him, and he reaches the gate first, hammering manically against it. He says something and scurries through a small gateway that has been opened to him. Moments later, you also reach the gate.
Get in, quickly!
You push your way through the gate as the first orc arrows slam into the wood next to you.
Well, that is certainly motivation.
The other dwarf said we should bolt the gate behind him, but we could use all the help we can get when the orcs come.
That treacherous sissy, where is he?
Boendal and I will look for him. Boindeal and Bavragor, help the city guards in any way you can.
You were certain the two of them wouldn't be much help in the search for Goimgar.
Yeah.
The fabulous Rodario.
Cometh, dear spectators, cometh and see! Let the Theatre Curiosum, with its star actor, the fabulous Rodario, the mysterious Nomora, and the genius Magister Technicus, Fergus, carry you off to another world. Now see and hear, dear spectators, the truth about Nudin the Knowledge Lusty, who disposed of the other Magi in a most horrifying way and plunged Girdlegard into disaster. Good God, it will be mine.
Not young?
Oh, for heaven's sake.
When you murdered Frala and the others...
To your horror, you realize that you can no longer talk. You feel a lump in your throat, and your eyes begin to burn, as images of the vaults and Synthoras appear in front of you.
I see that my first strike really hit you, Groundling. Oh, how they screamed. If only you had been there to help them.
What do you want with my rucksack? If you're looking for provisions, you could have just asked me nicely.
I'm not interested in what's in the rucksack. I only know that the Lord of the Perished Land wants it. So he will have it.
Your master doesn't tell you much by the sounds of it. Either he doesn't trust you, or he's in the habit of not talking about his business with servants.
You feel the blade cutting into your skin, and you take it as a sign of a small victory.
This way! Was that an elf?
If we're quick, we'll get that long ear yet.
Alarm! Alarm! The orcs are attacking!
Come, we must defend the walls.
One thing after a bleeding another. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a potion or anything for him. And he's not really a special attacker. So, we'll give him the potion. Might as well use him to try and break on the... He tripped up the stairs. Unbelievable.
Kill.
And he's failed. Oh, for heaven's sake.
Vile creature.
Get out of the way.
Kill.
Honestly.
Huh?
I didn't hit you very hard.
I'm gonna assume there's nothing over there. I can fall down the stairs apparently. There it is. Oh, that was easy.
Very good. We're able to stop them.
Synthoras. You wish it weren't so. But it is clear to you now that the city can no longer be saved.
To the side gate. It's our only chance. Yes?
What is it?
Okay. We'll let him have some fun for a bit.
I didn't hit you very hard. Out of my way.
Huh?
Too easy. Huh? Huh? I didn't hit you very hard, creature. Pow! Another one bites the dust.
I love the whole falling down the stairs thing and landing flat on his face.
It's locked. We have to open it somehow.
Perhaps we can be of service, gentlemen.
Step aside.
Are you thieves? Certainly not. We are artists. People with extraordinary talents. Say, friends, as you clearly mean to leave Mifadania too, would you have anything against us joining you?
The fabulous Rodario.
Oh, an admirer of my skills? Who would have thought it? I am indeed the one and only fabulous Rodario. This worthy gentleman here is Fergus, the best Magister Technicus since human thought. And last but not least, the enchanting Namora, whose beauty makes the mayor's roses wither in envy. Perhaps we should discuss the rest when we are out of this mess.
We have a long and dangerous journey ahead of us. I don't think you really want to join us.
An epic and dangerous journey? That sounds like an adventure. And anyway, I have already seen that you know how to handle those weapons of yours. In these dangerous times, a big travel group offers the best protection, don't you think?
I don't know.
The orcs are still surging through the gate and over the wall. You decide that this isn't the right time for discussions.
All right then, let's go.
Let's get out of here. We'll be safe with the firstlings.
The firstlings. The splendor of their halls is said to be unrivaled. And I have heard they have fascinating contraptions, Fergus, that are almost reminiscent of magic.
It's open, let's go.
Note that the marvelous Rovario, or whatever the heck his name is, never shuts up. Long-winded bleeding bards. Out of curiosity, we'll have a look at their abilities. Feigns death when he receives too much damage. Enemies let him be, and he stands up again. Seems like a lot of micromanagement. So she's a glass cannon. Okay, we're not going to talk about the Skyrim joke going on there. We're just going to leave that one well alone. I don't think I'll be using any of them. Because none of them seem... I mean, he seems alright, Fergus. But that's just a glass cannon, that's just a hide person. Yeah. Don't think I'll be using them.
In the evening, after your escape from Mithridania, you recover from your exertions around a campfire. Goimgar withdraws to a solitary corner. Bavragor devotes himself to his alcohol, and the twins get their smelly dwarf cheese out. Namora and Fergus exchange hugs and kisses on the other side of the fire, while Rodario sits next to you.
Ah, a journey with real dwarves to the stronghold of the firstlings. I'm sure I can write that into my new piece.
We're far enough away from Mithridania. Perhaps we should part ways tomorrow morning.
Rodario jumps up and begins to gesticulate ostentatiously.
I think you have underestimated us. Let me introduce myself and my colleagues once more. I am the Fabulous.
We don't have time to look after a pack of jesters.
Rodario seems offended for a moment, but then he grins, turns away from the group, and raises his right arm. A jet of flame shoots out of his sleeve. The dwarves are startled and amazed by the brief spectacle.
And what do you say now, critical Mr. Dwarf?
You're a magus. I don't particularly like them either.
At the Curiosum, magic is my area of responsibility. There is a tube under his arm with a flint and a bag full of Lycopediella seeds. When he firmly presses the bag, the flint sprays sparks and the seeds shoot out. And there you have it. Magic fire.
But masterly work, Fergus.
The Magister Technicus shows his appreciation with a nod of his head.
If they all have tricks like this up their sleeves, well, they might not be such a burden after all, Tungdil.
How are you doing for provisions? We don't have enough.
We are happy to share what we have. It isn't very much, though. We had to leave most of it behind.
Food is sure to be a problem on our journey. Winter's only just beginning to leave Wayan, and people will be keeping a tight grip on the stocks they do have because of the orc attacks.
We have to be frugal and organize as much food as we can. It wouldn't be much of a heroic story if we starved on the way to the firstlings.
Well, I must congratulate you on your skills. I find it hard to believe that it's not achieved by magic.
Aha, thank you, but I assure you it has nothing to do with magic. Just alchemy and accomplished acting. We leave the sorcery to the Magi.
Don't mention them. There's no love lost on Andakai and her walking iron tower.
You've met Andakai the Tempestuous? That is unbelievable. How was she?
She ran away to the Outer Lands. A damn disgrace.
Adakai had her reasons to leave us. She had already fought against Nodon and was unsuccessful. Furthermore, we wouldn't be here without her, and she told us about Keenfire.
Andakai, the bringer of hope. I like that. I'll have to use that in my new piece.
True to his words, Rodario takes out his notebook and writes something down.
Do you know anything about the firstlings? If I recall the map correctly, we need to cross the first large mountains in the Red Range and then pass through Snowdale to East Ironhald Stronghold.
No one has seen the firstlings for hundreds of cycles, but there are many stories about them. Their craftsmanship is much vaunted, and there used to be trade via a narrow path that led into the mountains, but I don't think there is a man living now who has ever walked that road.
Our mission is to forge the legendary axe Keenfire and destroy the traitor Nodon. If you wish to accompany us through hunger, coldness, and danger, then do so. It's your decision.
How could we not partake in such a story? Just think, what a wonderful play we could make of it.
If we survive. I was hoping to only resurface once we reach the Red Range. Instead, we have a long journey and a dangerous climb ahead of us.
There may be another way apart from the old trading route. A few years ago, an old man from the north told me of a place called Wackenstein. Apparently, there is an old path there, older than the dwarven tunnels themselves.
Legends and stories. There's too much uncertainty. Let's just see what the next few days bring.
Well, unfortunately, we're hemorrhaging 8 provisions per day, which is not grand. That is my cat wanting attention. And yeah, there's the path through that way. Well, inevitably we're going to go this way.
You spend the night protected from the wind in a ruin, and are sitting around a campfire as the topic of your new companion's performance on the stage comes up.
Sleight of hand, speed, alchemy, and makeup can have an incredible effect. Namora transformed herself into an elf using the latter.
I also noticed your weapons, Namora. I've never seen such swords before.
Their names are Crescent and Sunbeam. I designed them myself. It took a long time until I found a smith who was able to make them.
She looks like a pointy ear too. Nature hasn't been kind to her.
For this absent-minded remark, Boindil receives evil looks from Namora and grins from the men.
Perhaps I really am an elf, and will bring you a nightmare in your sleep tonight. Don't be surprised if you wake up screaming.
For a moment, it seems as though she has merged with the darkness, but when you blink, everything is back to normal.
By the gods! Isn't she magnificent in her role?
There is no denying what Rodario says.
Moving on. I want that orc horde. And it's going to be one step ahead of me along the way, isn't it? Oh, is it? Really? Okay, I can't escape now.
The all too familiar stench of tallow and grease reaches your nose. You know what this means.
Yep. Time to hunt some orcs, boys. I hemorrhaged 50 blooming rations to catch up to these guys. And it's not going to be worth it. I know it's not. But the experience is. Just for the sake of clarification, I'm gonna get... yeah, he doesn't have relationships with either of any of the dwarfs. That's a bit disheartening. Oh, no, put that back on. I'm gonna take that off, and we're gonna pop. Do I want him? Do I just continue with the dwarf setup? Do you know what it is? We will give him a try. We'll give him a shot. That's all he's getting though, a shot. Doesn't mean I have to like him.
At your service. Die.
Too easy.
Kill.
Yaha!
Yes.
And what?
Vile creature. Kill.
Yaha!
And again. He hardly put up a fight. Kill.
Pow! Another one bites the dust.
Do one ogre at a time.
What is it?
Die.
And we haven't actually taken any significant amount of damage.
Yaha!
Oops. Messed that one up.
He hardly put up a fight. At your service.
Yes? And what now? Oink, oink, little piggies! Fury horse!
Ow.
Too easy!
And again.
Look away for 5 seconds.
Yes.
Oink, oink, little piggies!
Die.
Pow! Another
Okay.
one bites the dust.
At your service.
Actually, this is going to be very good for a scouting tool.
Yaha!
So they're over there.
What is it? Huh?
And again. Oh. Huh?
hardly put up a fight.
Too easy!
Huh?
Ow! Another one bites the dust.
At your service.
Yaha!
Yes?
And what now?
And again.
What is it?
Oink, oink, little piggies! Huh?
Kill! Huh? Yes,
What is
yes,
it?
At your
soon!
service.
Yaha!
Too easy!
Vile creature!
And that's an ogre put down.
Die.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Kill!
That is not what was going to happen.
And again. I didn't hit you very hard.
Kill!
Your demise was inevitable.
And again.
Okay, I can't use his abilities.
Kill!
It seems. Okay.
Yes?
Ah! Another one bites the dust.
What is it?
Vile
Yes.
creature. At your service.
Kill!
Die.
And what?
Too easy!
Oh, apparently I killed enough. Okay. It was a bit slow to kill that ogre, but... Killing an ogre in return for taking 0 damage is also very acceptable.
What the hell were those things?
Goimgar carefully pokes one of the dead little creatures with his sword, as if he fears it'll jump up and attack him.
Have you never defended your past, Simmerbeard? Those are Bognalim. Small, ugly, stinking, cowardly. Sound like anyone you know?
Goimgar looks angrily at Boindil and is going to reply, but Namora speaks first.
They are like little orcs. They are even more primitive and make up for their physical weakness through their sheer numbers. They live in caves all around here.
While the others talk about Bognalim, you examine a decorated ox skull that the orcs had with them. It wasn't made by them, and somehow looks valuable. You pocket it.
Now we're at level 8. Just look good in that armor, though. I'm glad to see him in armor, rather than walking around in his bleeding street clothes. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to be taking either of those, so... Oh, I can reset the whole thing. Didn't realize that. You don't have the option to reset him, and he doesn't have level 6 abilities. That is... strange. We'll take Earthquake. 6 days worth of rations. I told you it wasn't going to be worth it. Especially with us hemorrhaging 8 days worth. Oh.
You are walking past an inconspicuous copse as Namora suddenly stops on the spot.
Wait! We are not alone. Someone is watching us.
A trap?
A trap? I understand how we got the name Yellow Belly.
Die, scum!
What are you doing? Why are you attacking us? We're dwarves too. We're on the same side.
I see honest dwarves here, but they are accompanied by scum. I will free you of it.
Oh, really? And what are you going to do on your own against 8?
You, come here.
What?
Okay.
Brother, what are you doing?
Boindle, what's wrong? Come to your senses.
It's no use. They belong to me. Now die, scum.
Well. Okay. We'll have none of those shenanigans. Thank you. I want none of that on you guys. We'll have that up there. Take that, please, and you can have that since you're a magi type character ish. But regardless, here we go. Civil war fight. And why have my buttons been changed?
What?
Apparently I fell off the hill too.
As quick as I can, all right?
Hey, even I am not ready over here.
Oh boy.
Gotta do this. Gotta do that.
Well, even I am not that quick.
Yes, as quick as I can, all right? Sweetheart, not too heavy like
Oh, that is
anyone I could do with some help. Quick!
Danger!
A victory to take
Yes, so!
I'm just a second, still charging.
What?
I don't want to leave.
Give me a hand!
Expecting
I need help over here, quickly. Yes. I can't do that yet. Please wait a moment.
Yes, so!
And again.
He cheated!
Yes.
Huh?
Just a minute. What? Yes, soon.
Yes.
Just a minute. Yes, soon. Just a minute. Yes, soon.
Well then.
No sooner does the unknown dwarf fall unconscious to the floor than her control over your comrades disappears. You fetter and gag her until you know more about her sinister powers.
That was... I hope I didn't hurt you, Scholar.
It was as if in a dream. But at the same time, it wasn't. I heard her voice in my head, and although I knew better, I only saw orcs attacking me. You were the enemy.
Boindil goes over to the shackled dwarf and kicks her gently with his boot.
This is never a child of the smith, even if she looks like one. Those gifts. By Fracas, there is something evil at work.
You kneel in front of the dwarf and press your axe against her throat.
My name is Tungdil. If I remove your gag, will you answer some questions?
The captive nods, and you pull the gag out of her mouth.
Geralda is my name. It would seem I underestimated you.
Your powers, I've never heard of anything like it.
Neither have I. I haven't had them for long. When I try to remember, all I see is black mist, and I taste iron and mud, and there's an elf who... Oh.
Did the Alfar give you these powers?
When I try to remember, it hurts. Like needles sticking into my head. I am Geralda Bloodstone. I was... Oh.
You said something about scum when you attacked us. Has Namora done anything to harm you?
Not her, but her kind. Alfar.
She is a human. She only acts at being an elf in theatre.
In the theatre?
For the first time, Geralda looks at Namora without a hateful expression.
She must die.
Where have you come from and what brings you to Wayan?
I was on my way to the Free Folk. They are said to live in the middle of Girdlegard, without kingdoms or their laws.
The Free Folk? You mean dwarves?
Yes, dwarfs who have left their kingdoms, voluntarily or otherwise. Not everyone has a place in their kingdom.
You instinctively think of your own plight. You are not a secondling, and won't be welcome among the fourthlings since you placed obstacles in their king's path.
Don't believe this nonsense, Scholar. The Free Folk are just a fairy tale that people tell themselves when they don't want to stick to the traditions. Just look what good it's done Geralda.
Geralda prepares to reply, but then she holds back.
Enough talk! She is dangerous, probably crazy. She attacked us, we should put an end to her.
It's what you call amnesia, memory loss, a tool often used in stage productions. We don't know what happened to her, and maybe she doesn't either. We can't just kill her.
She's too dangerous just to let go, so we'll take her with us. Remove the fetters.
You nip any objection in the bud and turn to Geralda.
Listen, don't know what has happened to you, but we are dwarves and we shouldn't fight against one another. We could do with your help.
The female dwarf seems just as surprised by your decision as your companions.
Thank you. I would be happy to accompany you. I am Geralda Bloodstone, of the Fourthling Kingdom. I'm sorry that I attacked you. It was a misunderstanding.
You realize that your decision doesn't please everyone. Boindil and Namora seem particularly upset. But they hold back, and you continue on your way, a slightly gloomy mood hanging over the group.
Well, can't please everyone. And we got level 9 out of it, so... And she's a level 10. Holy... Please. Instant execute. I made that decision a long time ago.
When you enter the pretty little village with its richly ornate houses and its temple to Palandial at its center, you can see an angry mob some distance away. The villagers are hassling a young woman, insulting her and pushing her to the ground. You push your way through the crowd of people and stand in the way of the villagers.
What's going on here?
A man dressed in richly decorated vestments.
She and her henchmen have emptied the monastery's granary and were willing to abandon us to our fate.
That's a lie. We asked for help and these people turned us away. I came back to ask again.
What evidence do you have against this woman?
We found the granary broken into. Almost a third of our grain and a significant amount of supplies have gone. And all this just one day after she and her people were snooping around here.
Which means that you have no evidence.
That isn't proof. It could simply be coincidence. Anyway, why would a thief come back to the scene of a crime?
The priest eyes you in silence, while some of the villagers make it clear that dwarves should keep their noses out of their business.
Tell us what happened.
The villagers grumble, but the priest gives the woman a chance to defend herself.
My name is Tavia. I was forced to flee Tabayin with my family when the perished land began to spread. My husband, we had to leave him behind.
The horror in the woman's eyes gives you a good idea as to what became of her husband.
Zombie.
No one accepted us in the north. There are too many refugees and everyone is scared. Queen Wei has offered land in Wayan to anyone who will work hard for it. But what should we grow if no one will sell us grain? We offered a fair price, but Father Malin...
She darts a scathing gaze at the priest.
He wanted double the amount.
The priest glances briefly at the angry villagers. Then he replies in a firm voice.
It was a hard winter. And with the increasing frequency of orc attacks, we must think of ourselves first and foremost. Even we cannot help everyone.
The bystanders mutter in agreement.
The accusations are serious, so let's get to the bottom of the matter to be completely sure.
We have no doubt that she did it.
The priest looks at the villagers standing around him, the lust for blood written in their faces.
On the other hand, before we do something we can't undo...
Dissatisfied murmuring grows, which the priest debates with mollifying gestures.
Search for your evidence. You there, lock this woman up in the guardhouse in the meantime.
The woman is taken into a squat building made of rough blocks of stone. The crowd slowly disbands. You enter the village's large storehouse. The ground floor of the two-story building is full of turnips, with large barrels and clay pots on the floor and on high shelves. Several villagers are carrying out stock-taking. They're being supervised by a weedy man who observes them with a grim expression and writes things on a wax tablet every now and then. Work is in full swing. The man with the wax tablet grumbles now and then in agreement when one of the peasants shouts out a number to him. It shouldn't take too much longer until they finish the inventory. There are sacks piled up on top of one another on the first floor. They are most likely filled with different kinds of grain and, judging by the omnipresent white dust, flour.
No.
You walk towards the only area in the storeroom where you can see the floorboards. You hesitate as your boots slip on the floor, as if you're walking on mud.
Tungdil?
The Magister Technicus carefully observes the roof beams above the empty corner. He grabs at a beam and crumbles something between his fingers. You can't make out what it is, so you copy him and feel damp, rotten wood. It's very easy to pull away small pieces.
What are you doing here?
The man with the wax tablet is standing on the stairs. He sounds half angry, half shocked.
No one is allowed in here.
The rain has gotten here. The roof and the floor are damp.
Those savages! It wasn't enough that they steal from us, they had to damage the roof too! That was probably where they got in.
The wood didn't start to rot yesterday, good man.
The steward's face turns bright red.
And you are the experts on such things, are you?
Assuming the roof here has been leaky for a long time, what would have happened to the grain in the sacks directly underneath? Wouldn't it have turned rotten?
The man wets his lips. His gaze darts around the room.
The roof was fine. I'll have it repaired. And now...
The steward angrily blocks off all further attempts at talking to him. And even when you threaten him with Father Malin, it doesn't have the desired effect. The father trusts in him, he says, and he's always been a devout follower. The heavy door of the storehouse closes behind you, and you hear a bolt sliding into place from the inside. You enter the guardhouse, and before the guards know, Boindale and Boendal have caught them up in a friendly conversation. Shielded from the view of the guards, you exchange a few words with the suspect without being disturbed.
Why did you come back to the village?
I wanted to negotiate with Father Malin for the grain. What else could I do? No sooner had I arrived than they surrounded me and accused me of robbery.
Where have you taken the grain and supplies?
I don't know anything about grain or supplies. Apart from the fact that we could do with both, I'm telling you, I am innocent.
We won't let anyone do anything to you, but if we are going to help you, you will have to tell us the truth.
The woman looks you in the face, then her head sinks, and when she looks back up, she has tears in her eyes.
Please, I just want to go back to my family. I don't know what happened.
Tungdil.
You feel sympathy towards the woman. You raise your hand to silence Rodario and nod to the woman to continue talking.
We asked for grain and were full of hope when we saw the well-filled granary. But we hadn't reckoned on the malice of the people here.
A slow, ironic clap sounds from behind you. Confused, you turn around to face Rodario.
Bravo, my dear, with tears and everything. Tough luck that a master of the art of acting is present. None of what she said corresponds with the truth, Tungdil. She is lying and trying to deceive us. Not completely talentless, for an amateur.
You expect the woman to deny everything, but when she overcomes her amazement, she spits in the actor's face.
And what if I am? I would do it all again. The people here have more than they need, and my people are starving. Is that fair?
Spit it out. Where are the spoils and your people?
I'd rather die than tell you that.
The woman looks at you determinedly, and neither of you blink.
Why did you come back here after stealing the grain and supplies?
We didn't steal them. We paid for them. A reasonable price, just not to Father Malin.
You had help.
He promised us 36 sacks of grain. When we opened the sacks in our hideout, we realised that most of the grain was rotten. He thought he'd get away with it.
The woman looks around wearily.
And by the looks of things, he has.
Morris the steward offered you the grain, didn't he?
What does that matter? I've no proof it was him. And even if I did, if I admit that we have the stuff, I'll be hanging from a tree by this evening and my children will starve. I beg you, let me go. We bought the grain and the supplies. Perhaps he wasn't allowed to sell it to us. But we paid. And with a little seed we can sow, at least some of us have a chance of surviving the year.
How can I trust you? You lied.
Who wouldn't do everything to offer their children a future? Lying is the very least.
You've stolen, no matter how you put it. But perhaps Father Malin will show clemency if you return the grain.
Clemency for me and a death sentence for my family. Never.
Disenchanted by the course the discussion has taken, you shake your head and leave the guardhouse. The priest is lost in thoughts, standing in front of the temple, as if he couldn't decide whether to go in or not.
I was wondering, what was here first, the temple or the village?
Ah, a keen eye. The temple is indeed much too big for such a small village. It was built on the foundations of an old stronghold when salt was found nearby. The village has grown over the years in the shadow of the temple. Good people live here, honest and pious children of Pelandiel.
He glances at the place where the woman was surrounded.
Why can't we just be left in peace?
Supposing Tavia really did steal the grain and supplies, but only to save her family, would you turn a blind eye?
Pelandiel teaches generosity, but that too must have its boundaries. We cannot help everyone. At some point there won't be enough for us.
So, if you had sold the grain, the people of Seaton would have starved?
Maybe not. Not yet. But if we always give everything we have away...
No one is saying always, and no one is saying everything.
The priest shrugs his shoulders apologetically. He doesn't wish to spoil things with his flock.
The roof of the granary is leaky. We saw some rotten wooden planks.
Again? Morris only had the roof repaired last summer.
Did he? If he didn't, some of the grain would have got damp and rotten.
Out of the question. Morris would have reported that. He checks the grain once a month, and there were no complaints.
The priest has absolutely no doubt in what he is saying, often a sign that someone hasn't thought things over. You nod goodbye, and the priest returns the gesture. The priest is lost in thoughts, standing in front of the temple. You
I will come back to it.
When you enter the strongly fortified mountain village, you see a large group of miners standing around a shaft in heated discussion.
I really saw him, I swear!
A young man in mining clothes defiantly stares at an older man who is a good head taller than him.
Even if you did, smashing the lift hoist, it would have been better to have not sent the cage down again until we cleared this thing up.
Is there a problem?
The older man, perhaps a foreman, is so angry that he hardly seems to have realized that he's talking to a dwarf.
Mika here says that he saw orcs in the mine, and he smashed the lift hoist to bits. The cage has crashed to the bottom of the shaft. How are we supposed to work now?
Can we help you somehow?
Help? Well, we'll have to repair the hoist, and we need a new cage.
The foreman turns to a man next to him for answers. He's just as muscular, with dirty, calloused hands and an angular face.
It will take at least 2 weeks, but we don't need any help, unless you can speed up time.
I'll need 1 day. 2 at the most, if there are problems.
The foreman looks aghast at the Technicus, unsure whether he's joking or not.
1 day? Have you got any idea how...
Fergas is the most talented Magister Technicus in Girdlegard. And anyway, what have you got to lose? Let him help.
As long as he doesn't get in my way...
The worker shrugs his shoulders.
Why not?
Good. then we'll help you. But we would like provisions for it. 30 rations.
Sure. If you pull it off, the provisions are yours. You really trust in your skills, don't you? Mika, give him a hand.
Fergus immediately gets to work, examining the hoist. After a few moments, he sends Mika off with a list of tools and spare parts, and explains to you how to build the cage, while he takes care of the hoist's rustic mechanism. After half a day, the cage is operational again, but Fergus is still busy with the hoist. You just hear him muttering.
So far, there is no automatic brake in case the ropes snap, but it shouldn't be too hard to fit one.
Fergus decides to fit the automatic brake, but it takes more time than expected. Building the hoist from scratch would have been simple, but the upgrade turns out to be complicated. In the end, it takes 2 days until the lift is operational again. After the work is done, you report to the foreman.
You've kept your part of the deal, we'll keep ours. Take the provisions for your journey.
You travel down into the mine in the repaired lift. Mika shows you the place where he saw the orcs, and you follow the winding gallery. After 1,000 paces, you stopped counting, and only after several hours do you reach an exit. There's a stench of tallow in the air. The tunnel leads directly into a huge orc camp, which blocks the pass into Snowdale Valley. If you attacked from here, you'd have the element of surprise on your side.
I could go and take a look and perhaps improve our chances for an attack.
You remember how the actor had transformed himself into Lot Yoni and Nudin in Methadania. You certainly wouldn't bet against him being able to walk through the orc camp unnoticed.
I'll come with you. If I stay in the shadows, they won't see me.
The actor nods gratefully.
I'll come too. I also know how to keep myself hidden.
Nomura wants to object, but you are quicker.
Thank you, Geralda. 2 more eyes and ears would be helpful on such a mission. Listen, try to sabotage their defenses, and if you can safely take out a couple of guards, then do it. But don't take any big risks. Come back here if things get too hairy.
Nomura and Rodario rejoin you without any particular urgency. The infiltration was a complete success. No one detected the 2 of them.
Well,
the guards are much more alert now since the infiltration of the orc camp. You have delivered a serious blow to your enemy, and an attack should now be significantly easier.
one would say so.
You enter the orc camp with your companions. You have a long way ahead of you.
Okie dokie. I think I'm gonna end it there for the night, if I'm being honest. Just set this up so he knows what, what's going on. He's DPS. He's the tank. I don't mind giving him that. So, this is what's going to be going on. I will pick this straight back up whenever I start recording next. So, in the meantime, I'll catch you guys later, and we're off.